You know, most of the financial advice you hear, it only ever scratches the surface. But what if the real secrets to building wealth are actually hidden, like the huge, massive part of an iceberg that sits underwater? Well, today, we're going deep. We're going to uncover the hidden framework for building real, lasting wealth.
So, our journey today is going to take us through 5 distinct levels of building wealth. We're going to start at that familiar tip of the iceberg, the advice everyone gives, and then we'll descend layer by layer into the deep, powerful strategies that are, very rarely discussed. Let's begin our descent.
Everything you have been told about building wealth lives on the surface. Save money, invest early, live below your means, budget carefully, cut the lattes, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. I mean, you've heard this advice 100 times from 100 different sources, right? And every single one of them made it sound like that was the whole picture. It's not. It is not even close. Now, that advice isn't wrong exactly, but on its own, it's dangerously incomplete.
I want you to think of wealth-building knowledge as an iceberg, okay? The part that sits above the waterline, the tip, that's what everyone talks about. That tip represents maybe, 10% of the total structure? The other 90% is underwater. And here's the uncomfortable part. You cannot skip levels. See, the surface was designed to keep you stable. It was never, ever designed to make you wealthy. And those are two very, very different outcomes. And the strategies that produce them, they live at very different depths.
So, the surface of the iceberg, what everyone knows. Save money, invest early, live below your means. Yeah, compound interest is powerful, dollar cost average into index funds. Build a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. Max out your 401k match. You've heard all of this. And here's the thing, it works. If you follow this surface level advice consistently for, say, 30 years, you will almost certainly retire with a reasonable nest egg. But what does reasonable actually look like? Let's be honest and run the numbers. Imagine you invest a solid $300 every single month without fail for 30 years. Assuming a 10% average annual return, which is historically pretty standard for the stock market, after those 30 years, you'd end up with roughly $680,000. Now, that's not nothing, but that is also your entire working career. And at $680,000 in 30 years, once you adjust for inflation at 3% annually, is worth about $330,000 in today's purchasing power. So if you withdraw 4% a year in retirement, that gives you roughly $27,000 a year, before taxes. In today's dollars, that's $2,200 a month. So, let's just zoom out for a second. Was saving $300 a month a bad decision? Absolutely not. It was a stability decision. And this right here is the critical distinction that the surface never, ever explains. There's a huge difference between a stability decision and a wealth-building decision. Let's just pause on that, because this is so crucial to understand. This is the first major mindset shift you have to make. Most of us are taught that saving, budgeting, and maxing out our 401k are the path to wealth. But this framework, it argues they are the path to not being poor. See the difference? They're defensive moves that build a safety net, a financial floor beneath your feet, which is incredibly important. But they are not offensive, wealth-generating moves. This is the moment you have to stop asking, how can I save more? And start asking, how can I generate a surplus so large that my investments become truly transformative? The surface advice is the foundation. It's the floor. It is not the ceiling.
Now we go below the waterline to level 2. This is where the ambitious people really start separating themselves from the crowd. Most people arrive at level 2 not through some book or a course, but through sheer frustration. They've been following the surface advice, and one day they look at their portfolio and realize, hey, the numbers are growing, but not fast enough to change anything about my actual life. That frustration, that is the doorway to level 2.
Okay, so level 2 has 3 main components. First, high-income skills. This is the realization that your income is just a reflection of how close your skills are to generating revenue. Things like sales, copywriting, software development, these pay 3 to 5 times more. Second, surplus creation. Now, this isn't just saving, it's engineering a large gap between what you make and what you spend so you can deploy it as capital. And third, the order of operations. The surface says invest early. Level 2 asks invest early with what? The real order is skill, then surplus, then invest. Think about it. Someone earning $50,000 a year who invests 5% for 10 years gets about $43,000. But someone who builds a skill, earns $120,000 and invests that same 5% ends up with roughly $103,000. Same savings rate, same strategy, 2.5 times the result.
And here is the uncomfortable truth about level 2. Most people skip it.
They hear invest early and they start putting $200 a month into an index fund while earning $50,000 a year, and then they wonder why their portfolio feels like a rounding error. It's not that investing is broken, it's that they are investing a surface-level income. So here's a quick test for you. What is your monthly surplus? If that number is under $1,000 a month, you do not have an investing problem, you have a surplus problem. And the surplus problem is almost always an income problem, which at its root is a skill problem. That chain right there, that is level 2 in a nutshell. And the crucial insight here is that order of operations. You see, the common advice to invest early isn't wrong, but it's totally incomplete if you don't ask, invest what? This is why so many people get frustrated. They're investing tiny amounts and just spinning their wheels. Level 2 forces you to shift your focus from the investment vehicle to your own economic engine, your income. Before you worry about trying to optimize an 8% return to 10%, you have to solve the problem of turning a $200 monthly investment into a $2,000 one. It completely reframes investing, not as some magic bullet, but as an amplifier for the surplus you must first create.
All right, let's descend to level 3. This is where it gets dark, and this is where most financial content just stops. At level 2, you're earning more? Sure, but you're still trading your time for money. Your income is directly tied to your hours. Level 3 is what breaks that equation.
The insight that breaks the whole time for money equation is this. Talent is not rewarded. Access is. You could have two people with the exact same skill, and they'll earn wildly different amounts based on one single thing: visibility. Who can find them? The income gap between someone who is skilled and visible and someone who is skilled and invisible is not 20%, it's more like 500%. The most talented freelancer who just relies on word of mouth, they'll earn a fraction of what a slightly less talented person earns who has a system that brings qualified buyers to them consistently.
Distribution. That is the wealth multiplier that nobody at the surface talks about, because it's a business strategy, not a financial one. Once you have a skill and a way to be found, you can productize. You can create services that deliver repeatable value or build recurring revenue through things like retainers and subscriptions. This is what level 3 looks like in practice. The variable that changes your financial trajectory is not talent, it's access. And this really illustrates a profound non-financial barrier. See, levels 1 and 2 can be done in private, but level 3 demands that you build in public. You have to put your work out there and face potential judgment. And that is a huge psychological hurdle, which is exactly why so many skilled people get stuck here. They're masters of their craft, but they're novices at marketing themselves. You have to realize that building an audience, a distribution channel, is a high-value skill in and of itself. It's the skill that multiplies the value of everything else you do.
All right, let's move to level 4 and see how this all builds. At this level, you stop being the product and you start being the architect. The identity shift here is from I do the work to I built the system that does the work. Maybe you've fought through level 3, your revenue is strong, but every dollar is still attached to your presence. You've basically just traded a job for a more profitable trap.
Level 4 says build the machine, a system that generates revenue without requiring your time for every dollar earned. Here's a phrase that really separates the levels. I want you to remember this. A business that requires you is a job with better marketing. A business that runs without you is an asset. And the test for this is brutal in its simplicity. If you disappeared for 60 days, would your revenue survive? If the answer is no, you are still operating at level 3.
This is also where you learn about ownership structures. The difference between earning $200,000 through a W-2 salary and earning it through a business entity. That is a wealth-building difference that compounds every single year. The W-2 earner pays taxes first, then invests what's left. The business owner invests first, writes off expenses, and pays taxes on what remains. Same gross income, totally different trajectory. This is how you escape that more profitable trap we talked about. You know, the expert who believes that no one can do it as well as they can. And hey, they might be right. But level 4 demands that you trade 100% of your personal quality for 80% quality delivered by a system. Now, why would you do that? Because 80% from a system is infinitely scalable, while 100% from you has a hard ceiling. It's an ego-crushing but absolutely necessary step. It's the transition from being the engine to being the architect of the engine, which finally allows you to work on your business, not just in it.
We've reached it, the bottom of the iceberg, level 5. You know, the reason almost nobody talks about this level publicly is because it's pretty much useless without everything above it. Explaining level 5 to someone at the surface is like trying to explain calculus to someone who hasn't learned algebra yet. This is about generational wealth design. You are no longer building income, you are building an ownership stack that compounds across decades. The math at level 5 operates on a completely different scale.
A 10% return on $100,000 is $10,000. A 10% return on $1 million is $100,000. A 10% return on $5 million is $500,000. It's the same percentage, the same boring index fund strategy, but a completely different outcome. The variable that changed was not the strategy, it was the size of the base.
And that right there is the level 5 insight that ties the entire iceberg together. Every single level below the surface exists for one reason: to make the base larger. The strategy at level 5 is almost boring. The power is in the base. And the real enemy at this level is impatience. You have to resist the urge to chase hot new things, because one bad decision driven by impatience can erase years of patient progress. A speculative bet gone wrong with $1 million portfolio can wipe out 2 full years of compounding in a single afternoon. And this reveals the ultimate point of the entire iceberg. Every single level, the skills, the visibility, the systems, is designed to do just one thing: make your capital base larger. Levels 2 through 4 are the active entrepreneurial phases where you build your capital engine. Level 5 is simply the deployment phase. The strategies become boring because the goal now is preservation and steady compounding, not high-octane growth. The hard work of building the capital is done. The new work is the psychological discipline to be patient and let that massive base do all the heavy lifting for you.
So here is the principle that connects all 5 levels. The iceberg is not a collection of random strategies. It is a single system where each level feeds the one below it. The surface gives you stability. Level 2 gives you income. Level 3 gives you scale. Level 4 gives you freedom. And level 5 gives you permanence. And the order, it is not a suggestion. It is the architecture. The mistake that keeps most people stuck is simply a lack of sequence.
So what's your move? If you're at the surface, your job is to ask yourself, what skill could I build in the next 12 months that would double my surplus? If you're at level 2, you're skilled, but you're invisible. Your move is to pick one platform and just post 5 times a week for 90 days. If you're at level 3, you're earning well, but you are the bottleneck. Your move is to document your process and train someone else to do it. And if you're at level 4 with capital accumulating, your move is patience. Deploy into boring, reliable assets and just let them compound.
Okay, so here is your assignment. Be honest with yourself about which level you are actually at right now. If your surplus is under $1,000 a month, you are at the surface or maybe early level 2. If you have the skills but nobody knows you exist, you're transitioning from 2 to 3. If you're earning well but you can't take 2 months off, you are between 3 and 4. Drop your level in the comments. I read every single one, and I will build a deep dive specifically for whatever level most of you are stuck at.
You see, this iceberg is not just a knowledge hierarchy, it's an action hierarchy. The levels do not unlock by reading about them. They unlock by executing the level above. The surface is where you get stable. Level 2 is where you get skilled. Level 3 is where you get visible. Level 4 is where you get free. And level 5 is where you get permanent. And the order is not optional. You know your level, so the only question that matters now is this: what is your first step to go deeper?